Howdy everyone, this is LockNutz, and you're watching a map tour of Calm Land by erShaba. Hopefully you'll stick around to see what happens. Howdy, how are you guys doing today? Oh my goodness, I tell you what, today we get to do a map tour of Calm's Land by erShaba. Ooh, I tell you what, this little bad mamma jamma is 80.7 megabytes to download, and yes, it is cross-platform friendly. That means everyone can jump in to this one and absolutely enjoy the heck out of it. Ooh, I tell you what, before we get too far ahead of myself, let's go ahead and read a little bit what's in ModHub so we know what we're getting ourselves into. Calm Lands is a map of unknown location. In it you will find a winding terrain with several forests and many hectares of uncultivated land. Map 100% prepared to build your own farm style and fields. Sale area where you can sell all of your generated products, edited license plates, edited base game vehicles and tools, new product, donuts, confectionery, production of donuts, placeable sawmill, BGA edited small tanker for transporting the methane obtained from the BGA, placeable grass dryer, animal stables with greater capacity, all kinds of trees and bushes to place. Accept the challenge of farming and designing your own land, creating your space to raise your cattle and create beautiful landscape around your production buildings. Ahead, Calm Lands awaits you. I tell you what, awfully slick, awfully slick, that is for darn sure. Now, I have gone ahead and started this game off in new farmer mode, that way you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Now, this does have the standard new farmer mode. You start off with $100,000. Farm Manager mode 1.5 million, and start from scratch is $500,000 with $200,000 in debt, so you have about 300,000 of liquid assets. One thing about this map, currently the way it is all set up is that you do start off with all vehicles in whatever mode it is that you actually start in, so keep that in mind when we go ahead and take a look at that. Now guys, let's go ahead and take a look at all the vehicles that you do start off with. Alright, starting off with medium tractors, let's take a peek. You got yourself a McCormick and a Robo 6, gotta love that. Harvesters, you start off with the Dutzfar Topliner. You also have a corresponding Dutzfar Topliner grain header, and of course the header trailer that does go with it. You do not start off with this. I bought this for traveling around the map, so this is something you don't have. You do start off with a PowerFlex trailer, a Convertland Eco Mat plow, a Kuhn seeder, a Convertland mower, a front loader attachment, a front loader pallet fork, a low loader, and a pair of weights. So that's what you start off with, and like I said guys, you do start off with that no matter what ends up happening. Now, there are a couple things here that we want to go ahead and look at as well. Land is one of them. Alright guys, so this is the map that you do end up starting off with. As you can see, it looks a lot like No Man's Land, but I tell you what, that's about where the similarities kind of, not necessarily end, but to a degree. Now you will see that these plots of land up here are slightly larger than these ones down here. That's because they are just a little bit larger, and the price actually decreases as you go on down. But what do you actually start off with when you do start this off in new farmers mode? You actually only start with field 4. I put some of the new placeables on field 7, so I bought that. So you do not actually start off with that. You do really only start off with plot number 4. Now, the most expensive field are actually 11 and 26. They're the exact same price, and they are $186,000, almost $187,000, so that ain't too shabby. And then the cheapest one is actually Field 10 for $52,621. So not too bad. A lot of variety as you go ahead and work your way around the map, depending on what you got going on here. It really does depend. Now, this is kind of the only really oddball shaped one. You do have a couple of these guys right here next to the little lake, and obviously along the river here, the plots are kind of split up. But other than that, guys, this is the map. Now, one thing I want to bring up here before we go on our map tour, or I should say the drive around this river right here, on this side of the river over here, this is pretty much all flat land. It's not super flat, but it's flatter than everything else. So just to kind of keep that in mind, once we get over here, this will be what we're looking at. And then all of this up here does have a little bit more hill to it, so that's pretty darn neat. Now, there are 3 starting areas. If you take a look at this, there is this area right up here. So this is where you go ahead and start off anyways when you're doing the new farmer mode. So this is one of them. You have one area up here in field number 1, or I should say plot number 1. That plot is 90,000, just about 91,000. The other one is on plot number 18, which is $159,000. And the only reason you'll see is there's kind of like a flat land here, kind of halfway designated for that to begin with. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and hop in our vehicle. In just a little bit here, we'll take a look at all the other little bits and pieces that we got going on. So like I said, this is the vehicle that I got right now. It is just, it's not part of this map. You don't have it naturally on here, or I should say to start off with, but I wanted to point out right here, this is the reset point right in here. So when you go ahead, you accidentally run into an issue, that's where it ends up going on. One of the things I like to do when I do the map tours, guys, is I like to have the map up in the corner right there so you kind of know where I'm at and you can follow along with what's going on. Now, just take a quick little swing around this little yard right here. There's not much to it, but there's a lot packed into it. I guess is a good way of looking at it. Size-wise, not big, but a lot packed into this little punch. You do have several sell points all around this area right here, guys. It's actually pretty darn slick what you have in here. So kind of, you have anything to sell, base map stuff, this is where you're going to end up coming to go ahead and do all that. It's pretty darn neat. So next thing I want to go ahead and do here is I want to go over to where the new purchase points are. Right? Not purchase points, sorry about that. Let's get through here. The new placeable items that are available on this map customized. Now, one thing that I do like to do, guys, and it may bother some people, is I like to drive off-road, usually through fields and whatnot, so you guys can really get a look of what's going on. Now, considering this is going to be one of those maps where you probably go ahead and create your own fields and whatnot, with the terrain and everything, you're probably going to want to go ahead and get something that is a little bit more beefy, just as per se. All right, so like I said, this is not a chunk of land that you do end up owning, but these are the buildings that you can go ahead and add that are new to what's happening here. So this is what we got right here. I do apologize for that, guys. I forgot to put my phone on silent, so already off to a good start. So here we are. This is the sawmill right here. Or I should say not the sawmill, the drying station. You go ahead and right over here is where you put your grass in, your wet material, and then on over here is where your hay will end up coming out. We'll take a look at the prices here in just a second. Here is the BGA, the modded BGA. You go ahead and you put all your bits and pieces into here, and then you can get your products on out, your methane, and then also your digestate on out. This little bad mamma jamma right here is the confectionery, and this is where you can go ahead and create your donuts, which is pretty darn cool. And over here is the sawmill. So we'll go ahead, now that we just took a quick little look at that, looking at them, let's go ahead and see what's so special about them. What's so different? Well, mainly, guys, you come into productions here. it's the price. This is $25,000 to go ahead and get your stuff dried. Not too shabby. BGA that's right here, much cheaper, much cheaper. As you can see, the cheapest one we got is $435,000, and this little bugger is $180,000. You have your Sawmill right here, so you got this little guy for $40,000, and your Confectionery for making the donuts is only $40,000. So that's not too shabby at all. And like I said, guys, you can go ahead and get these. These are custom to this map. I wanted to come over here, throw them down so that you guys can go ahead and see what they actually look like. Now let's head up here and take a look at the first area, your first starting farm, if you will, if you have the opportunity to go ahead and do that. Oh, get off the way here. This is where you'll end up starting. I'll kind of drive on the roads here for a little bit, but like I said, I'm going to kind of bob and weave and get off of them. So I kind of like this right off the bat. You go ahead to get into this area, you have to drive across a little dry creek bed. You take a look at this right here. You do have one field. It's the only field on the map. And I'll be honest with you, I really like that. You see how steep that thing is? Oh, nice. Super nice. Now, like I said, guys, up here at the starting farm, no matter what mode you start on, this is where you're going to have vehicles up here. So you got this nice little shed that's off to the side here. Another nice little shed with all your implements sitting right out over here. It's not too shabby. You got your low loader right there, and you do have a house for saving and changing your attire. It's kind of nice, kind of perched up a little bit out of the way. Pretty darn slick, if you ask me. Pretty darn slick. There's not much to it, to be 100% honest with you, but this will give us an opportunity to kind of drive around and look at a bunch of the other things. Because, like I said, guys, pretty much everything that you're going to be doing here, you're probably going to be starting your own farm, so yeah, it kind of is what it is. Now, let's kind of come up over here, and we're going to cut in through here because there is a road back here, and I like kind of driving through the forestry areas because it's awfully nice. You can take a look at it right here. Here we go. There's the road. It is pretty hilly. So no matter what you go ahead and do, like getting down here, let's say you get your tree harvester down here, you get yourself rocking and rolling, or even a trailer to go ahead and haul all of this stuff out of here, all your trees out of here. Because of the hills, guys, you're going to need to get something with a little extra power, a little extra juice behind it, to pull your profits, your load, whatever the heck it is you want to call it, up and out of the ground, or up and out of this area. So nice wide roads where you can actually, oh my goodness, nice wide roads where you can actually get equipment back and forth up through there. Oh, good Lord, we're just going south really quick here. But as you can see, guys, it's nice and rocky. It kind of gives that nice feeling of it's just a nice rock outcrop where they really can't do any farming or anything there. You can see the cell points up on top of the little rock outcropping, and it just left the trees because you can't do anything with the land. It's pretty darn slick, if you ask me. Pretty darn slick. We'll come through here. There's a couple intersections that are like this, and I think it kind of is nice. It breaks the map up a little bit by having like these little rock outcroppings here, where you have the road kind of come through and it's all treed up, and you have the opportunity to go ahead and cut stuff down. It's really kind of neat. It kind of breaks up the wide open fields that you have here. I really like this. It's simple, but it means something, I guess is a good way. You can really see yourself. You can visualize the paintings, the pictures, the stories that you want to tell here. It really does give you that opportunity. So here is one of those sell points that you do not start with. And as you can see, guys, like the other one, it does have buildings up here. It's just a nice little flat area, kind of up on top of a hill where you're kind of secluded, but you have a great view going out there, and you have your nice little storage right there. Super slick. I do like this. I really do like that spot a lot. So we'll continue on driving down here, and like I was saying before, it kind of has that no man's land look to it when you look at the map, but when you get out here, it almost feels, I don't know, maybe more alive. I don't know, maybe it's because there's just more elevation changes, more things happening. I don't know. That's my own personal opinion. Go ahead, comment down below. Let me know what you think of this, what you're seeing when you take a look at this. Do you see No Man's Land, or do you see something completely different? Because myself personally, I see something completely different. Kind of a no man's secluded feel, but not so much because you have that little village up towards the top. And again, here, guys, down at Field 18 or Plot 18, you have the exact same setup right here, where you have your two buildings kind of up here. This view is kind of nice because you can kind of overlook. You kind of get up here and you're overlooking the river or the valley a little bit here. It's a really neat view, super neat view. But obviously, if you're coming over here, watch what you're doing. You don't want to drive off the edge. That would be absolutely terrible. Oh my goodness, I tell you what. Oh man, so lastly, guys, we're going to kind of come over here. This isn't lastly, what am I talking about? Next thing on the list is we're going to drive on down over here and kind of cut across over here to the crossings. Now, there are two crossings on this map where you can kind of come through and cross the river to get to the lowlands. And this is what I was saying. This is the lowlands over here. And you can kind of see as we drive across, you're kind of looking out in either direction, that the land is really flat. I was just going to go ahead and say that, this bridge is actually pretty darn wide. So when it comes to getting your implements across, you're probably going to be pretty fine, unless you get a really large header. And at that point, you might not be able to make it across. But other than that, everything is pretty darn slick. You should be able to do it. Now, driving over here to the other bridge location, like I said, guys, this is the lowlands. So if you're really into farming on some flat land, this is definitely the area where you want to go ahead and get yourself all set up, because this area is flat in comparison to everything else. This area over here, you really can get away with using implements or whatnot that have a specific horsepower requirement. You really only need to meet that horsepower requirement, and then you're good to go. You don't need to oversize or anything like that for any of that. But as you get closer to town and the sell points, you're going to need to upsize things. You're going to need to be able to meet that challenge. So in the lowlands, where you have the benefit of being on the nice flat lands closer to your sell points, like this, as you can see right here, you're definitely going to have to go ahead and really upsize the horsepower to be able to go ahead and navigate these fields, manage these fields, and just, well, ultimately just dominate these fields altogether. So if you guys would give me just 1 second, we'll move on to the next thing. All right, everyone, here are a couple things that I wanted to go ahead and show you. Now, there are some custom vehicles in here, so this is pretty darn slick. You have this McCormick and this Landini, and what you can go ahead and do is these ones actually have the color options, so you can go ahead and just make them a little bit nicer for how you want to go about doing it. It's entirely up to you what you want to go and do, but like I said, you got this guy right here, and you have this guy right here, and like I said, these are some special color options you can go ahead and do on there. It's pretty nice. If you're not sure which one they are, they have these nice little color wheels on here. The other thing that I wanted to go and show you was this guy down over here, this methane trailer. This little guy right here is super slick for going ahead and transporting your methane wherever the heck it is you need to go. And all you're doing here is just swapping out the rim color on there. Pretty darn slick on whatever you want to do for this. But if you want to, you can go ahead and transport your methane, so you can go ahead and use it back at your farm and make yourself a nice green farmer. Along with that, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at this really quick, and we'll take a look at some of the other special things that are happening here with donuts, because donuts are a brand new thing. And as you can see, guys, pretty darn slick price. Not too bad at all. That's nice and high. Almost $6 grand for donuts. Ooh, that's great. That's absolutely great. Oh, and at the methane station, you can go ahead and sell methane for a ton. So that is super, super cool. I just wanted to make sure I had the opportunity to go ahead and point that stuff out to you guys. Now, at this point right here, it's time we go ahead and get our Mary Poppins hat on and go for a little fly and take a look at this from the sky. All right, guys, and here we go up into the sky to take a look at the aerial view of this map. Now, up here, I mean, as you can see, guys, this is like the highest point of the map. It's got bumps, it's got bruises. You got your flat lands down below there, the nice low lands. Oh, man, there's not a lot of forestry areas on here, but if you honestly really want to jump into forestry right off the bat, you can purchase some spots and make an absolute fortune on this. Guys, I absolutely love this map. I can't believe this with the elevation changes, the bumps, the bruises that are all throughout all of these fields here, and then taking a look at what the scenery is. But guys, don't take my word for it. Go ahead, download this mod for yourself. Let me know what you think about it. Oh my goodness, I tell you what, if you're loving what you're hearing, liking what you're seeing, go ahead and smash that like button. Oh, if you want to help out the channel, go ahead and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. Turn the notification bell on and make sure it's set to all. That way you know when this and other great videos are coming out. Go ahead and share this video with somebody who likes donuts. Ooh, I know you know one or two. If not, share it with me. I love donuts. Oh my gosh, guys, I tell you what. I can't wait to get on this one. But until I do, thanks for stopping by.